Welcome back to our course on Calculus for Business. In this lecture, we are going to talk about some applications of differentiation. So, in the applications of differentiation, the first concept that we are going to see is marginal concepts. So, in marginal concepts, what are the things that we deal actually? So, the first one is revenue. Okay, and then next one is cost. So these are the two things that we deal in marginal concepts. Okay, then okay, what do we mean by a revenue? Revenue is something that we get, and cost is something that we invest. Right, whatever may be the product that we are producing, uh, the money involved to produce that product is known as cost, and while selling that product in a market, the amount that we receive is called as revenue. In cost as well as in revenue, we have three things, that is total revenue or total cost, and average revenue or average cost, and the marginal revenue or the marginal cost. So these are the three things. And total revenue means what? Suppose if you are selling n number of products, and the total amount that you received by selling that n number of products is called as the total revenue, and the amount involved in producing these n number of products is called as total cost. And average cost means what is the amount that you get when you sell it, that is the amount of an each product when you sell it, that is called as average cost. That is simply total cost upon the number of units. And the marginal revenue and the marginal cost involves the concept of differentiation. That is what happens to the revenue or the cost when there is a slight change in the total number of units. That is what marginal revenue or marginal cost tells us. Okay, so these are the outline ideas. Technically speaking, total revenue is the number of units sold multiplied with price per unit. Okay, if we denote number of units as X and price per unit as P, then total revenue, and we shall denote that as R. This is X multiplied with P. Okay, and the average revenue is total revenue upon number of units. So it is going to be what? XP upon X, which is simply P. Price per unit is also called as average revenue. And marginal revenue, this is the rate of change in revenue with respect to the change in units. In notation, this is simply dr upon dx. Okay, here you may very well see that this price is a fixed quantity and the number of units is varied. So your R may be treated as a function of X, and when you differentiate your revenue with respect to X, that is going to give you marginal revenue. Similarly, talking about the cost, total cost, we shall represent this as C is the total fixed cost, and this is abbreviated as TFC, plus total variable cost. This is TVC. Okay, what do you mean by total fixed cost? It is the cost involved irrespective of the number of products that you produce. Initially, while starting the concept of differentiation, we have spoken about the typesetting charges in a printing company, right? So the typesetting charges is irrespective of how many copies that you are going to make. So that is a fixed cost. And the variable cost it will involve the number of units that you are going to produce. So hope you have had the idea of what do you mean by total cost. And average cost means it is total cost upon number of units. Okay, so this may be written as TFC plus TVC upon X. This is TFC upon X plus TVC upon X. This one we write it as average fixed cost, average fixed cost plus average variable cost. Okay, and the marginal cost, it is also the rate of change happening in cost whenever there is a change in the number of units, and this shall be written as dc upon dx. Okay, and in generally marginal cost is abbreviated as mc, right, and marginal revenue is abbreviated as mr. Now let us look at some problems. Okay, so we are getting into problems. The first one, the demand curve of a monopolist is given by x is 100 minus 4p. So this is the given information to us, with which we'll have to find out the total revenue, average revenue, and marginal revenue. And the second one is at what level of x the marginal revenue is equal to 0. These are the two things that we have to find in this problem. Okay, let us start our solution. So we are given that x is 100 minus 4p, and we know that x is the number of units that we produce and p is the price. Okay, from which we'll have to identify what is the price in order to find it. Okay, in order to find the total revenue, it is number of units multiplied with price per unit. So in general, we take the number of units to be x, and we'll have to find out what is p. So that p is going to be found from the given information. So from this, what shall we write? 4p is 100 minus x. Therefore, p is 1 upon 4, 100 minus x. This is nothing but 25 minus 0.2x. Okay, so this is your price, and when you multiply your price here, it is going to be 25 minus 0.25x, and this shall be written as 25x minus 0.25 x squared. This is your total revenue based on the number of units that you are going to produce or that you produce. You can substitute the value of x and you get your revenue. Next is average revenue. In order to find the average revenue, we just divide the total revenue upon number of units. This is x times of 25 minus 0.25x upon x. So this is 25 minus 0.25x. Next, we'll have to calculate marginal revenue. So this is derivative of the revenue with respect to x. That is derivative of 25x minus 0.25x squared. This is 25 of derivative of x, 25 multiplied with derivative of x, and minus 0.25 multiplied with the derivative of x square. This is 25 simply. This 0.25 multiplied with 2x, that is 25 minus 0.5x. This is our marginal revenue. Next, we'll have to calculate the level of x when the marginal revenue is 0. Okay, if marginal revenue is 0, this means what? 25 minus 0.5x is 0. This is possible only when 0.5x is 25, which means x is 25 upon 0.5. That happens to be 50. Right? So we are done with this problem. Now let us see another problem. If C of x rupees is the total cost of manufacturing X toys and C of x is 500 plus 50 upon x plus x squared upon 10. It is given and we'll have to find the average cost and the marginal cost when we produce 20 units. Okay, let us get into the solution. We are given the total cost is 500 plus 50 upon x plus x squared upon 10. Average cost is C of x upon x, which is 500 plus 50 upon x plus x squared upon 10 upon x. So this is 500 upon x plus 50 upon x squared plus x upon 10. This is the average cost. Now we'll have to calculate the average cost when we produce 20 units. So if you substitute x is equal to 20 in this, it is going to be 500 upon 20 plus 50 upon 20 squared plus 20 upon 10. That is going to be 25 plus this is 50 upon 400 plus this is 2. So it is going to be 27. So 25 plus 2 is 27 and this is 40 upon 5. It is approximately, sorry, it is going to be like 0 point plus 0 point. So 5 upon 40 we have. So point 5 upon 40 is simply what? 1 upon 8, which is 0.125. So to 0.125, 27.125, and since this is in rupees, we approximate this as 27.13. This is the average cost when we produce 20 units. Next, we'll have to talk about marginal cost. So marginal cost is d upon dx of c, that is d upon dx of what is our cost function? That is 500 plus 50 upon x plus x squared upon 10. So this is d upon dx of 500 plus d upon dx of 50. You may take it outside since it is a constant, 1 upon x, and here also you may take 1 upon 10 outside since that is constant, d upon dx of x squared, and this quantity is 0. This is 50 times of minus 1 upon x squared plus 1 upon 10 multiplied with 2x. Therefore it is going to be minus 50 upon x squared plus x upon 5. Okay, now let us calculate the marginal cost when we produce 20 units. So it is minus 50 upon 20 squared plus 20 upon 5. We have approximated this as 0.13 and this is 4. So it is 4 minus 0.13, which happens to be 3.87. So rupees 3.87 is the marginal cost when we produce 20 units. Thank you.